Well, we want to hear from West Ham fans. We can hear from one now. West Ham fanalist Russ Budden joined us. Hi, Russ. Last week, I think you'll be aware that Charlie did predict West Ham for relegation last week. What do you think of that?
Well, to be honest, not much from Saturday's performance would suggest anything otherwise, in all honesty. I agree with Charlie. I thought we were awful second half. And in all honesty, I think, one swallow doesn't make a summer. We've still got 37 games left of the season to go. But Saturday was awful. It was awful, particularly the second half. First half, okay. Second half, not so good. But we desperately need for some energy in the midfield. Desperately.
Russ, I was at the game, obviously, in a different end to you. Jarrod Bowen was brilliant. I think he stood out a mile for West Ham. But another thing that was quite noticeable was a real lack of pace for West Ham. Is that something that you've been saying for a while? Is it something that surprised you?
It has. It's that pace in the midfield, in all honesty, and that's been around for, well, it's been an issue for over a year, which still hasn't been addressed. And I think that is critical. We seem to be sorting out all the other places around sort of left wing back, the goalkeeper, bringing in squad players like 𝗥𝗨𝗦𝗬 Callum Wilson. But that midfield is so slow. It needs some energy. It needs some pace.
Russ,
it needs
I'm going to pick you up. Russ, I'm going to pick you up on that bit where you said bringing in squad players. Why is West Ham bringing squad players in? Just sold kudos to Tottenham. I need players. He wasn't a squad player. West Ham bringing in squad players, that's not good enough for West Ham. And this is why I think this is why they're going to find themselves in that position where they're going to be near the bottom in that relegation scrap. And I know it's the opening day and it was at Sunderland, it was their first home game in the Premier League for so long. But the way West Ham performed, they're just nothing. They didn't have no energy. And like I said, I feel like you've been so reliant on Jarrod Bowen for a few years now, and kudos has been there to kind of shoulder most of the pressure. But I think this could almost be too far now, and it's almost gone on too long. If you're saying they're trying to bring in squad players, then that's alarming for West Ham, surely.
No, I think in terms of what I'm saying, Charlie, is we've got rid of a lot of players over the summer. Cresswell, Coufal, Fabianski, Danny Ings, Zuma, Antonio. Exactly. And so we needed to pad out the squad and bring in some players. Now, we know the AFCONs are coming up. Wan-Bissaka's likely to be playing for Congo. You've got Diouf likely to be going to Senegal. You've got Aguerd likely to be going to Morocco. So we need some players in to pad out that bench. And someone like 𝗥𝗨𝗦𝗬 is a good squad player, I think. But I totally agree, Charlie. It's not good enough. We've brought in some good players, but we need to bring in a hell of a lot more. And I don't think we've got the time.
What about Graham Potter? What's your feelings? Potter in, Potter out?
I'm still Potter in, to be honest. I think he inherited... if we go back, even before 𝗥𝗨𝗦𝗬, I think under Moyes, the rot was setting in there. And then 𝗥𝗨𝗦𝗬 continued. And I don't think he's inherited a squad which, for me, when he came in, was low in morale, low in togetherness, low in team spirit. And if anything from pre-season, I've seen, obviously, what the club put out, but obviously what I've seen on the pitch, a real sort of a stronger team spirit, which I think will hopefully drag us through this season. I don't want us to drag us through this season. I want us to succeed. But even like a couple of seasons ago, we lost to a newly promoted side towards the beginning of the season. We won the Conference League that year, so anything's possible.
Russ, is he going to be able to be given time? And then you said he's inherited the squad from Moyes, 𝗥𝗨𝗦𝗬. Is he going to be given the time to create his own squad and get his own players in and really turn it around? Or do you think in time, if this continues, is it almost going to get too much and the pressure's going to get too much? I think it's quite alarming for me personally that Karen Brady's already come out and had to back him. I think that's quite alarming that West Ham have done that. I think that's almost too soon.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it's results that matter. At the end of the day, you can inherit a squad and build a togetherness, but results don't happen. And obviously the results aren't anywhere near where we as fans want them to be. I think the Karen Brady interview was already sort of set up by them. So I just think it was I think it would have been a different conversation.
It's not like she came out at the end of the game, is it? And said, I need to address this.
No, exactly. And I think for me, Potter... Time is a precious commodity in football now. Very few people are given time. If the results are there, you can have time. But if the results aren't there and the performances aren't there, then it's only a matter of time till things happen. For me, the club do tend to hold on to managers, with the exception of Lopetegui. Most tend to have some sort of tenure. The club have invested quite a lot into the infrastructure in terms of Potter, bringing in Carl McCauley, paying compensation to Chelsea. They brought in 2 new goalkeeper coaches, a whole new lot of staff. That would have cost 7, 8, 10 million quid all to bring him in and get rid of Lopetegui. So there is an investment made to Potter there. So for me, I think he will be given time, but inevitably, if the results aren't there, then we know what's the outcome going to be.
Yeah, Sullivan and Brady have always given managers time, even going back to their Birmingham days as well. Charlie, this one's to you, and I think you'll both have a say on it. You know what I'm going to ask here. Since David Moyes left, West Ham have won 11 out of 39 Premier League games. So the question is, Charlie, are they regretting getting rid of David Moyes?
Yes, because getting him back before. And for me, Russ, I think he was brilliant for West Ham. It was like he was made there, and even the backroom staff that he had with him, he kind of got a good squad, solid squad, team morale, looked good from the outside. He might not have been playing exciting football, but the trophy he won. Look at how much enjoyment he brought to West Ham Football Club. And now all of a sudden, no, we don't need David Moyes, we're going to go somewhere else. And look where that's kind of taken. There's no progression. I don't see any progression from West Ham from when David Moyes left and they won the Conference League, even to now. And even if you look at it now, what's the progression next for West Ham? Like, I'll go to you, Russ, and say what's a good season for West Ham now?
Well, I think if we look, and again, I think the whole Moyes era, after the Conference League that season, we finished. I think it was 14th that season. We won the Conference League as well, and the pre-season afterwards, the preceding one, we didn't perform half as good. And I think actually the Conference League win masked the end of David Moyes' tenure at West Ham, and the results and the performances weren't happening. I think people can accept good results and a poor performance, but when you get both, that's when it comes out. They needed a change, Charlie, in all honesty. I think it looked a bit stale. Right. It was the same players week in, week out, the same way of playing, and we got found out. We just got found out.
Russ, are you thinking you've progressed since? And I totally agree with you. Have you progressed since David Moyes has left? Is what I'm saying now. No, I know that you're saying that it got stale and it kind of knew it was the same players, etc. But from that moment he's left to where West Ham are currently now, have you seen a progression? Has anything changed on the pitch? You're going, actually, do you know what? I'm glad we got rid of David Moyes. Or it's just, I needed to see something else and we need to freshen it up.
I agree with the second. I don't think we've seen anything new, anything that I've gone, thank God we got rid of Moyes at all. I think maybe the only sort of thing from a West Ham perspective as a fan is maybe more integration with the academy. We've seen the likes of Ollie Scars come into the side, and that was always one of the criticisms about David Moyes wasn't bringing the academy players in. Whether you think that's a good thing or bad thing, that's up to judgment. But that's really the only difference I've seen, and that really came with Potter coming in and bringing Ollie Scars in. We've got Freddie Potts, who's in and around the ground now. But in terms of progression, you can see, look at the league performances, we haven't progressed in the last 2-3 seasons, I suggest.
With Jarrod Bowen, you lost Mohamed Kudus. All right, now, if West Ham, in the next couple of games before the deadline, how worried are you that someone like Jarrod Bowen will say, right, I'm not so happy right now with how things are going, and I want to be in that World Cup squad in a year's time? Is there any worry in your mind, or have you seen that he loves the club so much that that's just not going to happen?
Well, he's our talisman, he's our club captain, and as Charlie said, he's really the only consistent goal threat we've got. It's the last World Cup, really, he could appear in. He'll be 33 by the time the next one comes along. So there is a concern, but I think out of all of the playing staff, I think he's probably the least likely to get itchy feet, in my opinion. He's our poster. He's literally married into the family. He only needs to get 13 goals, and he's our Premier League all-time top goal scorer at West Ham, which is a record I'm sure he'll be looking at.
Yeah, and that's a record that he probably will be going for. My worry is
that enough, Charlie? Is that enough?
No, it's not enough. Like, if he gets 13 goals, it's positive for West Ham. He gets the record. But again, is that enough to get into the England squad when you're looking around? Time will tell. What will be interesting, Russell, we get to like December time and West Ham haven't really are not going forward, and they really are in a relegation scrap. And with January coming up, and then we start thinking about, well, it's a World Cup. Do I really worry about the West Ham all-time goal scoring record? I want to be on that plane to America. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to come in.
You're
from.
worrying, Ross. Ross, I can see your face now worrying. You weren't worried until now, were you? You've regretted coming
Thanks,
on.
Charlie.
Sorry,
Thanks,
Ross.
Charlie. I was all confident at the beginning. No, I think you know he's played 240 odd times for us. You know, he's 28 now. From a player career perspective, you know, regardless of who you're married to, you know, there is obviously that in the back of his mind. I think, in all honesty, amongst the whole squad, I just think he's the one who has the least likely to get itchy feet. I mean, he's not really even breaking into the England squad now, in all honesty. Even when he was, you know, one of the top performing English, you know, strikers, English forwards in the Premier League, he wasn't even under, you know, Southgate and then obviously Tuchel. He wasn't really breaking into the squad. And you're thinking, where would he go to as well? You know, Newcastle would have been obvious, but with Elanga now, you know, and Gordon, I think that ship has sailed, in all honesty. So that's why I'm not as worried. My face might tell different, but I'm not as worried.
Right, Ross, mate, you know, things can change around very quickly. In a couple of weeks' time, you might be absolutely delighted. Ross, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys.